Alright, so now we're going to cover the compressor. The compressor is a great thing. I might do 2 videos on the compressor because you can do several different things with it, but we're going to talk about very basic compressor usage. The main goal of the compressor is to quiet things down and relax things. So we have our same in button. This has a lot of knobs and buttons and switches and all that, but there are only a few that matter. So the in button puts it in circuit as before. The threshold sets, I'm sorry, I turned my game down. The threshold sets where it starts working. So we could set this working right here at just above unity, meaning it'll start compressing there, or we could set it way down here and it could start compressing down here. Again, we have this graph at the bottom that shows what it's doing. All black means it's not compressing. And when you see some white coming through, it means it's being compressed. The ratio is how much it's being compressed. And this is what's going to explain what it is. So we have 1 to 1. You have to be 1 decibel louder than the compressor to sound 1 decibel louder. So if I'm at unity, you have to be 1 decibel louder than unity to sound 1 decibel louder. So it's not being compressed. 3 to 1. You have to be 3 decibels of energy higher than unity to sound 1 decibel louder. 5 to 1. You have to be 5 decibels louder to sound 1 decibel louder. Makes sense? It's just crushing how much energy you have to get through. Anything below 6 to 1 is considered a compressor. Anything from 6 to 1 to 9 to 1 is considered a limiter. And anything above 10 to 1 is considered a brick wall limiter. Those are things you need to know. Those are just terminologies, but they are common. So anything below 6 to 1 is common for compression. If you're limiting something, it's not going to get above it. Nothing is going to be 20 decibels louder than that energy. You're just stopping it from being that loud. Think about the use case for this. Let's say I have an actor, right? And this actor is particularly, medium spoken. He or she projects well, but they have a line that they just scream. So they go from talking, I got a good volume set, and then they go, really loudly. Well, we don't want them to destroy everyone's ears. We don't want them to destroy the microphone. So we're going to compress them, so when they go, it'll push them down, and they won't sound as loud. Make sense? So this is where we can get into attack and release. Attack and release is how long it takes to grab the and how long it takes to bring it back up. So if this actor screams and goes way up here to where this yellow line is, they go to right there, it will take 4.6 milliseconds for it to slowly bring it back down to where the compressor is. And then once it brings it back down and it holds it for a bit, it will take 500 milliseconds to slowly let it come back to where it wants to go. This is controlling the speed of it. If you have something that makes a noise really fast and is sharp, think a snare drum, you're going to want a fast attack. You're going to want it to pick up really quick. But if you have a nice long sound, you can let it slowly go and grab it. You can usually leave these where they start right in the middle for the voice, but use your ears. Play around. I can teach you the science, I can teach you what it does, as I said before, but I can't teach you when to do it. I can't teach you, well, when it sounds like this, you do this. You just have to get in here and play around with the equipment, which is why I advise being in here and touching the knobs and doing things as I do it. So, over here, we have the soft knee, which just makes it a little more gentle, because you can hear the compressor kick in if you have it too low. You can hear it go, and it's called breathing. You hear the compressor breathe as it kicks on and kicks off. So if we have a soft knee, it makes it a little gentler, and it starts compressing a little bit before it hits the compressor, and it slowly just makes it rougher and rougher compression, so it sounds a little more natural.
And it's just it's a gentle change in the slope too of the angle on the screen.
Yeah, it's not as sudden. Mainly used for voices. Don't worry about the makeup gain. We'll talk about that if we end up making an advanced video, but I just want you to get the basics of compression right now. It's got the side chain. Again, you probably won't use that. It's got compressor types. it's got a lot of them, but really 2 of them are used. And you just sort of have to think about what you're doing. And the name says what they're doing. The first 2, peak and RMS, are the ones that's used. Peak controls the peaks. It controls the top, meaning it only compresses when it passes it. Think something that's transiently loud, like a scream. And then you have RMS, which compresses the whole thing. It makes it sound more natural, and it makes it where you don't notice the compression. Think singing. It also has parallel path. Again, you probably won't use it, but if you're feeling artsy and you want to know what it does, it allows you to put some compressed in there and some non-compressed. Again, you probably won't use this first starting off. The big thing to get is what the compressor does, which is ratio, threshold, and the soft knee. Those are the big things to get starting off. I highly recommend getting in here, playing some music, and dialing the compressor and seeing what it does, seeing what different ratios do and things like that. And that's really the compressor. Thank you.
Thank you.